The dust of the world does not exist. Years ago, while preparing a treatise of aesthetics, and I remind you that aesthetics is a branch of philosophy dealing with beauty, I found a remarkable book by Shitao, an Asian painter. This book was entitled The Unique Drawing, and this book was saying more or less that when you paint, you have to make it beautiful immediately, because otherwise you will not be able to correct. The book is full of very funny stories, very interesting stories about art and the art of painting in particular. One story, for example, is the story of the painter who was paid by the king to make a beautiful picture, and after 1 year he had produced nothing. Then the king decided that he would wait, but after 1 other year nothing was produced. And after the 3rd year the king decided to go and see the painter. But when the king was arriving, suddenly the painter took a piece of charcoal and on the wall of his cave he made a picture of dragons that could fly, drawing behind them a small car, and he went into the car and the dragons fled, so that the painter escaped the king's furor. Of course, it's only a story, because in life flying dragons don't exist. But you know, this book is so well written that we imagine the possibility of it. And it is the same with the impossibility of making corrections to a picture. It's not true. An important topic of this book was about the dust of life. And Shitao wrote that in order to make a beautiful painting, to make art, you have to escape the dust of life, which means that you have to make your mind empty of all these things: family, power, money, everything. You have to focus on art. Again, this is very smart, very appealing, but I consider today that it is wrong. Indeed, the dust of life exists only if you make exist. If you decide to focus, and if you have methods to make it, then there is no dust. If you go at the bar and you discuss the last movie, this is the dust of life, and you are responsible of it. Because at the same time, you could decide to offer to your friends, even at the bar, to offer to your friends some intelligent ideas, not just chatting. I propose that we make a big difference between the content of the speech and the social meaning of it. Being at the bar is only a question of sociality, and people, being human, belong to social spaces, and they spent a lot of time just chatting, because it means making social bonds. But at the same time, there is no real reason to discuss the last silly movie, and we have a duty, I consider, of course, to make our friends improve, and ourselves also, by selecting only intelligent ideas that we can apply later. And this is why I'm saying that the dust does not exist. It exists only if you make exist. And now the big question is, how is it possible to be intelligent? It is the same question than going to the bar and looking for intelligent ideas. We have to discuss the question of intelligence, but remember that in an exercise I invited you to select an interesting recipe. This is the same question, and I'm sorry that the students to which this question was asked focused on a recipe. The question was not a recipe, the question was intelligence in general. Because if you find a general solution to the question, you would obviously find the solution to the exercise. I am not saying that generality is the key always. I'm just saying that the general method applies in more cases than a single one. And in order to get solutions, more solutions to more problems, it's probably better to have a method than just a solution. Finally, I come back to the question of the dust of life. I repeat that it does not exist, and one is responsible for its existence. On the contrary, if there is some intelligence somewhere, it means that the boy or the girl who showed it to me is responsible for this intelligence. And I'm very grateful for possibility of improving myself through the gifts, because they are really gifts from students or friends.